Yeah, we're smoking it right at Austinite. We're back at the Austinite Podcast. I'm David.
I'm Pamela.
And we're your hosts. We've got a super special guest today, one of our medical dispensary employees from Oklahoma. We've got Megan in the house.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
All
Megan,
the way
how are
from
you?
Oklahoma.
I'm good.
Good. We're glad to have you on here. You're in town for our little event we've got going down tonight. Is it your first time in Austin?
Yes, first time in Austin. It took me about 4.5 hours to get here.
Yeah, so you're in southern Oklahoma. You're at our dispensary up in Ardmore. How long have you been there?
I've been working there since, I believe, January, but I've lived in that area since 2018.
Okay.
Nice.
How are you liking it at the location?
Oh, I love it at our location. It's way bigger than the location that we had before the name change.
Yep.
And I love the white walls. Like, I'm a plant freak, and I love that we have plants everywhere.
Yeah.
They're fake, which means I don't have to water them, so I can't kill them.
Yeah, Stella loves that. Even here in this location, as you've probably seen, we really incorporate all kinds of plants with our cannabis plants as well.
Yeah, we try to.
Do you have like a favorite and a least favorite part about working in the industry?
So probably I guess you could say least favorite part is, regardless of what you are selling, we are still in customer service, and you still get those type of kind of, those rude kind of, agitated customers that just, they think they deserve the world. And it's like, I can do my job for you, but I'm not going to go above and beyond.
And it's crazy too about that is, I feel like anytime we get a customer like that, we're always like, you're in a cannabis shop. Like, how are you being so uptight? Like, aren't you supposed to be chill?
Exactly. Yeah, you'd think everybody, because there's a whole handful of people. I'd say majority of people are like shook, like starstruck, even if it's their 100th time walking in here. They love it. But then there's those odd couples that are like so nitpicky about everything, and I'm like, I get it, but it's like we do have everything too. But there's just, I feel like, a certain way too that you could go about it that'd be a little bit better.
In my first dispensary job that I started with, I actually had a couple call my boss and complain because, and I quote, all she talks about is just getting high. Ma'am, I'm literally selling medical marijuana, like weed, medical marijuana flower, whatever you want to call it. Like, it gets you high. That's the point.
And whatever you call the effect that you get from whatever product you buy, that is insane. Wow.
And then, so a favorite part.
Oh, my favorite part. So I'm going to split it between two. The first thing is the just different amount of people that I get to meet. In a normal day, I see anybody from like 19, 20-year-old that's fresh out of high school, just got a card, just, figuring out what they like, what they don't like. And then I've got 50, 60-year-olds that come in for, actual medicinal needs like fibromyalgia, nerve pain, anything like that. Also, I just really, I'm like a kid in a candy store when it comes to just being next to a wall of flower marijuana. It smells beautiful. I'm like, low-key, somebody needs to invent the scent oils that you use, the perfume oils, but smelling like flower.
There's nothing like it. There is nothing like it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that even, I guess in maybe like certain circumstances, that even people under 18 can have their medical card as well?
Yes. So you can be under 18. You just have to have somebody apply with you as a caregiver, per se. And so whenever you would buy your flower, you would have to present your card, and then your caregiver would have to be there with you and present theirs as well. But there is no limit on how many people you can be a caregiver for.
Okay.
And I believe every single person that you are a caregiver for, even if you yourself don't have a med card, you can have up to 6 plants per patient.
Yeah. Wow. So like we said, we're down here recording in Austin, and Megan is from our Oklahoma dispensary, so it's kind of a different vibe. There is medical patients up there for everybody that doesn't know. So Megan, could you just give a brief introduction or kind of description of how somebody could go about getting their medical card or the industry in Oklahoma?
So the two main ways that I know of and that I recommend is patient drives, which usually go on at dispensaries themselves, where they bring in a company that is in, I guess, cahoots with a doctor that's allowed to give medical marijuana licensing. Mm-hmm. And you would pay the company, and then you pay your state fee, which is I believe it's 104 and some change right now, and that's completely unavoidable. You have to pay that every 2 years that you renew your license.
Okay, wow.
But you can also just go online as well if being around people makes you uncomfortable, because I fully understand that. But all you have to do is just go into Google, type in Oklahoma medical marijuana card, and you will get all kinds of links to all kinds of online doctors. Well, they will just call you on the phone. You have like maybe a 5-minute conversation, and it's not super intrusive. They're actually not allowed to get super, personal about it, because we are protected by doctor-patient confidentiality.
Yeah.
And you do, of course, I think for those wondering, because you probably don't know that for the viewers here in Texas, but you do have to be a resident.
Yes, to get a medical marijuana card in Oklahoma, you have to have an Oklahoma driver's license.
Yeah.
And you have to have a physical address to send your card to. They will not send it to a P.O. box.
And I know back in March they did the election for recreational use and it didn't get passed. So what we were asking Austin from Heal THC last time, his thoughts. What do you think about it?
So I fully support eventually going recreational, but me personally, they threw together our medical industry very, very quickly. So most industries in normal states take about an average 1.5 to 2 years to fully come off the ground, fully work in patients, businesses, all that. Oklahoma took 6 whole months.
Yeah.
And it's because everyone was already growing it, low-key illegally, and then they just had to get a piece of paper or a card that says, ooh, you can do that.
Pay a little bit of money, yeah.
But because it was done so quickly, there are so many loopholes in the legislation, and it didn't up until, I was going to say, when they first legalized it medicinally, there wasn't even any protection for people in the workforce having a medical marijuana card. You could still be drug tested and fired, even with a medical card.
Yeah.
And it took a little bit more work in the legislature to, protect people like that. And I was worried if it did go recreational, because at that point anybody could test positive. So could workplaces go back and discriminate again, because now everybody can test positive. I didn't like all the, well, what about this, if that. There's too many holes for too many things open to interpretation.
Yeah. And that's kind of same way Texas is right now. And we were just talking about that on our last episode with Mala, because she's from California, where it's completely recreational now.
And it has been for a while now.
And
They couldn't even think of, she was like, I didn't even know that there was this much cannabis down here. And I'm just and I was like, the lawmakers would think, they think they're keeping it all out, but it's it's still all here.
And it's unregulated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. They are having a large issue with black market grows in Oklahoma. And I can't confirm this, but I have heard rumors and things on the news that they are starting to crack down hard on them, because supposedly there's human trafficking, possibly slavery involved with these illegal grows. So that's the OMMA in Oklahoma is coming down heavy on these black market grows, people that aren't following regulation, things like that.
That's good though, and
at least finally.
Yeah. And I think we can all agree. I think it's kind of a consensus now. This, like what you were saying, that it's good that it didn't pass now. That they just didn't throw the title on it like they were trying to, and they're really going to try to do it the right way. I think that's
awesome. I was about to say there needs to be more research, more time invested in putting it together, instead of just hurry, pass it. And I'm like, no, we need to do this properly, or we're just going to be in the same boat we are now with illegal grows. Because the amount of business and grower license that the OMMA has released in Oklahoma is massive.
Wow.
Huge.
Wow. So how long have you worked in the cannabis industry?
I started officially working probably right before COVID hit.
Okay.
And in the first dispensary I was in, it wasn't the best in the world, but I was going to say I was there for about 5 or 6 months, and then I got laid off because of COVID there. And then up until January of this year, I haven't actually worked in it, but I mean, I'm a daily smoker. If you want to meet me and like me, I better be high.
Yeah, and then so Megan's been with us since January.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's been amazing. I know Stella and Charles, they really appreciate you too, and she came all the way down here to Austin to hang out with us and help us out for the event going on tonight.
It's a ton of fun, and Megan's been helping us out a ton. The reason why I asked you that, Megan, because I wanted to know, what do you think? Because a lot of viewers will always tell us oh, this is so awesome. But what do you think a common myth of being, or something that a lot of people don't consider, of working in the cannabis industry?
So I get this from a lot of older people, a lot of older generations, that they're like, oh, well, you kids just want to get high. That's it right there. They don't understand that this is medical. This is medicine. Yes, I'm only 27. I'll be 28 in August. But the anxiety that I feel on the daily, like, I shake sometimes, and I'm like, what's going on? And my body's like, you're panicking. And I'm like, why though? So it's like, it's not that I just want to get high and just like, blah, blah, all day. Like, this isn't an Afrojack song, or Afrojack, I think, song. And like, this is medicine. This is like the same way you want to take your Xanax and your depression medication. We want to smoke our weed.
Yeah. And it affects everyone differently too, is I think what a lot of people don't think is a lot of closed-minded that just goes along with it. Yeah.
It gets roped in with drugs. Everyone's like, it's drugs. And I was like, this is not synthetic. This is a full plant that grows. It's
From a
natural.
seed.
Yeah, like the terpenes that you find in marijuana, you will find them in everyday food, like lemons, black pepper, anything.
Mangoes.
Crazy. Yeah, but down here too, I mean, we're also fighting stigmas as well. And one thing that I have noticed, though, that's very interesting is, so in Oklahoma, when we've worked some shifts, indica is what everyone wants.
Oh, yes. Everyone
wants indica. There's
a preference, yeah.
Yes. And it's like, there's like a smaller selection of sativa. And I don't know if you notice here, but here, everyone's like sativa. Sativa's the first flower we run out of. And nobody wants indica here. And I don't know. It's just probably like the different type of people. We're like right in the city, so everyone's like on the go, is what I assume.
Oh yeah, no. I was driving here with Estella. I was like, oh, there's so many people. The lanes are narrow.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is stressing me out.
People are driving crazy.
Yeah, like that's the difference between Oklahoma drivers and Texas drivers. Is Texas drivers will weave in and out,
They're in a
like
rush.
bobbing and weaving, and they're driving fast, and they'll honk at you and be like, "Get out of my way." And Oklahoma drivers will drive slow, and then when you want to tailgate and honk at them, they will drive slower.
Yeah. They're like, I got time.
We do it. We are petty. We do it out of spite. It's
I
like,
see it, okay.
Yep, okay. I'll just slow it on down. I've done it to cops too that want to be like, yeah, I'm a cop. I can go fast, and it's like, not in this 55 construction. You can't.
Dang. So we already talked about myths, right? Do you have any like cannabis, like I guess I would want to say influence
Or like inspirations,
Yeah,
like role models even.
So I believe I said I'm 27. I didn't actually I didn't touch marijuana in any form or shape until I was about, I think, 22 in college.
Okay.
And I started off with some brownies that my friends wanted me to help them make because apparently they smoked the weed, but they didn't know how to make them. And they're like, Megan, do you know how? And I'm like, is it because my family likes meth? Is that why you look at me like that? And they're like, no. Sorry, but so I'm like, yeah, no, let me help you. I'll show you how to do this. And they talked me into eating some brownie. And what I didn't know, I didn't understand weights back then or metric or anything like that. I put 14 grams into one batch of brownies, y'all.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm just eating little tidbits
And they were
out of the
hitting.
pan. Oh yeah, she hit back. I'm just eating little tidbits out of the pan, like the little Crispies. They're my
And this was
personal
your
favorites.
This was your first experience with cannabis?
My first experience with drugs in any shape, form. Like, we're talking like pills, recreational, like MDMA, crazy stuff like that, like anything. The hardest thing I had by that point was a Mike's Hard Lemonade. So
Wow.
I'm eating these tidbits, and they're crunchy and they're delicious. And by the time we're done wrapping all these up, I look up and my whole life feels like it. So like PVC pipes, when you look down them and there's just, everything's just
vision.
real tiny and narrow.
Yeah,
my
tunnel
whole
vision.
life was that big. And someone was twisting said pipe. I
God.
lost it. Like, I actually, by the end of it, I pulled the fridge from the wall and curled up behind the fridge because it was cold and it was dark and I liked it, and I cried a little bit.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see you here today, though, because that's mostly the people that are today, like years after that are like, I'm never touching cannabis again, So what got you back into it?
So That was my first experience, and that was my last one for at least a year and a half.
Okay.
I started dating my now fiance, and like he never like forced it upon me or anything like that. But every time him and his friends would smoke, he'd hand it over and be like, "You want some?" Like it was always an offer on the table, and it took about 5 months, and eventually I was like, "Okay, give me some of that."
So
But
what is your preferred way now of consuming?
right now, concentrate.
Yeah.
It hits you fast, it heavy, and most people are like, "Oh, I cough too much." I will cough, vomit, smoke again, cough more. I am a puke and rally gal.
That's a dab lifestyle right there.
They used to call me the dab queen at my old job.
Really? Wow. I see it. I love it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. We've got an honorary Austinite Podcast
Yes.
question. We ask all of our guests, if you had to pick a couple people dead or alive, dream sesh, dream blunt rotation, who you got?
Oh, so I'll be straight up. I'm a morbidly strange human. Like I love dark things.
Okay.
So I would actually want to sit in a room and smoke a blunt with Charles Manson.
Okay. From a distance or something like.
I mean, yeah, under, heavy guard. But no, abnormal psychology and research psychology was
Yeah.
my favorite thing. It's what my emphasis is in my bachelor's. And everyone was like, "Megan, there's something physically wrong with you," because I was actually kind of sad the day he passed away in prison. Because I was like, I understand that he's a horrible man, he did horrible things, and he, convinced other people, manipulated them to do horrible things. But what has to happen to a person for them to reach that point? Like, when do you snap as a human and just do, evil things and manipulate and control as you see fit? Like, I don't know, the human brain messes with me.
Psychology in it.
Yeah, because the human brain is like 3 pounds, but it controls everything that we are. Our memories, our personality, us.
Yeah. And there's a lot to learn there, I feel like, with Manson. That would be one blunt sesh right there. That'd be.
Well, there's still people that argue that he shouldn't have went to prison because he physically did not kill anyone. But he convinced his family, as they call it, to, commit the killings.
Yeah. Allegedly, he says.
Allegedly.
Well, thank you, Megan, for being here. And we're probably going to go get this comedy show started pretty soon.
Yes, it is time. We appreciate all your help, and we appreciate you so much for being on the podcast. Y'all check Megan out. She's always at the Austinite Ardmore store. Come say hi to her. Come shout her out. Tell her David and Pam sent you, and we'll hook her up.
Awesome. Really great being here. Thanks a lot, y'all.
No problem. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for watching.